I've seen Sidney Crosby slash off a dude's finger and not get 5.
Yeah.
Like, he had a stump, guys,
Yeah.
and he wasn't getting 5.
Actual. Yeah.
The guy didn't have 5 on his hand, and Crosby wasn't getting 5. So
he could still count to the amount of minutes Crosby gets.
Stick talk. 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 Stick talk.
And hockey.
yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 111 of Stick Talk Hockey.
I have nothing for this one.
Yeah, you know what? We're midway through the second round. We're gonna get into it. We got so much playoff hockey going on, not just in the NHL, everywhere. We got some news coming out of the NHL though as well. As always, I'm your host Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
Over there we got our producer,
Jay.
and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna start at the third round. We're now 2 games in on both sides in the East and the West. Oilers tied up the series tonight, 1-1, and honestly, I feel like the Oilers have been the better team 5 of 6 periods.
Yeah, it's not a bad take at all, honestly. I mean, aside from completely down their leg in the first game, in the third period specifically, and that was bad penalties marginally.
Yeah, I mean, it was a collapse for sure, but like, yeah, some of those penalties, I mean, oh, baby, that was rough to watch. And then
it was the definition of you did it to yourself, though. Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's one of the best losses to suffer, though, because you can like look yourself in the mirror and go like, yeah, okay, we got this. We just have to chill the hell out a little bit.
I will say Dallas, last series they broke their game 1 curse, how they couldn't win a game 1.
Mm-hmm.
They did it again. They won another game 1. That does concern me a little bit for the Oilers, but overall, I actually thought I was saying today to Jonesy, I think the Oilers lose tonight and still win the series, going down 2-0. But they tie it up. They're going home. They've been the better team. They've also been so good at home. I think this series is going to be the Oilers to lose.
I agree. And I wasn't really worried about the game 1 loss. I was extremely worried if they lost game 2.
Fair enough.
Because I feel like then that turns into a no one loses at home situation.
Yeah.
Which just spells game 7L.
Sure.
Which you just can't handle.
Yeah.
You don't want to go there.
No, we don't need more game 7Ls for Edmonton.
No, exactly. So I'm really impressed with the way Edmonton's played, though. And I mean, like, I just said it in the group chat today, but like, I never really took this Oilers team seriously.
Yeah.
I kind of am now.
I mean, we've talked about that forever on this show. The entirety of it, basically.
Pretty much. That's all, and it's been my steadfast take on the Oilers. And I don't know, watching them like handle business, in whatever way they need to, throughout the first 3 rounds, I'm buying what they're selling now.
I mean, them, like the Oilers and Florida, kind of have this do whatever it takesness to them.
Yeah.
Like where they kind of can play any game any day of the week.
Whatever it takes.
And yeah, and like especially we'll get to the Florida series, but like, when a Florida's playing a team like Carolina that's so well coached and can flip on a dime how they're playing you, Florida just like matches and attacks it every time.
Yeah, it's like going up against a grandmaster in chess.
And yeah, 100%. And Edmonton does that now too. They're not just a one-trick pony team.
No.
And it's impressive to watch.
No, and they have units that can handle any situation.
Yep.
Which is completely different than anything we've really seen from previous iterations of this team.
100%, yeah.
And this is a team that when they do find themselves behind, whether it's their own doing or not, they've actually been able to clean it up pretty well.
Yeah.
And But for the longest time, my take in the playoffs has been Edmonton can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah, same.
Maybe that wasn't the take to go with, as much as they are the team that can pull it off.
Sure.
Because there's a big difference between getting away with it and pulling it off.
100% there is. And I think this year, I think they should pull it off. Like, it's so crazy. You know, you look back, 3-4 episodes ago, and I was so, like, ready to see this Oilers team out in the first round.
Same. I had LA.
Yeah, yeah. And now I'm like a full-on, like, sign me to a 1-month contract here because, like, I'm an Oilers fan this month. I'm on the wagon. I really think that, like, I feel like Anakin Skywalker when he has those visions of Padme dying. Like, I think we talked about it before, but I have this just vision of Connor McDavid hoisting the Stanley Cup in the storyline finish against the team that broke him last year, the Florida Panthers. It just feels like now at this point we're heading towards Florida going to the final, which again we'll get to them. Which just means like Edmonton, it has to be Edmonton.
It has to.
It has to be.
It has to be. And I mean, I was watching the Stars very closely tonight. And don't get me wrong, I think Dallas has such a bright future ahead of them. It's actually underrated.
Yeah.
How many stars they have, no pun intended. Like young talent that is actually performing so dependably.
Yeah, dependably is a great word for it. Yeah.
In a very tight playoff atmosphere against one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the league?
One of the most dangerous teams I've ever watched in my life, yeah.
Arguably. And the fact that you have guys like Wyatt Johnson, Sam Steele.
Yeah, J-Rob, Rupe.
Like they have a really good future.
Yeah.
They just need to strip Jamie Benn of the captaincy.
Amen, sister. Say it louder.
They need to strip Jamie Benn of the captaincy.
Yeah. I mean, we said last year the team's never going to win with Jamie Benn as their captain, and I think that still holds true, unfortunately.
Standing in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I completely agree. I do want to note, though, on what you said about they can't keep getting away with it versus pulling it off. I still think that with my new fandom, I'm not a fan, but with my cheering here for the Oilers, I still think it was dumb of them to not get a goalie.
I do too. And I will say, like, as much as I am praising Edmonton right now, there's still some things about this team I don't like. I'm not thrilled about the Skinner situation, but I mean, look, it's the playoffs, and we've seen worse goalies get worse teams to a cup. We just have. You just need a hot hand. You just need a good 20 games. That's all you need.
I mean, honestly, like,
we've seen certified backups somehow build starting careers, and granted, they didn't last long, but they did it with just 20 games in the playoffs.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, every team wanted him. It's chomping at the bit.
Course,
We've seen it so many times.
Yeah. I even look at guys like Aiden Hill, in recent memory, that's like, he ain't really that guy. But he was that guy for 20 games, and that's what matters.
Exactly, and everyone was chomping at the bit. He was getting a 5 somewhere.
Well, I mean, Vegas broke their internal cap structure around goalies, right? Their whole thing was just goalie turnover, goalie turnover. Have like 5 of them in the system and pray something works at $1 million each. And then Aiden Hill wins them a cup, and they give him 5 years.
Yeah, and I mean that's
really gone great.
I mean that's kind of what you should do, though. So good on them for actually doing the right thing for a change. Such a goddamn cutthroat organization.
Mm-hmm.
The GM hates to hear people say it, but it's true.
Yeah, 100%.
You earned that title. Sorry.
And so, like, for Skinner here, like, they have they're gonna have 5 more games here, and they're gonna have a potential 7 against Florida or Carolina. But come on now. So I mean, you're looking at 12 more games.
If you go a full 7 the whole time.
I mean 12 potential games total that you need 6 wins out of.
I was going to say, you just need him to go 50% in the wins.
So you literally just need Stuart Skinner to not cripple you in half of the games that he plays. That's it.
Which I mean is also not the most heartwarming take, when you consider this is also the goalie who, previous to the game one, had posted either an 8.74 or a shutout.
fewer. Yeah.
Huh?
No, I know. It's pretty unbelievable. This team is just unbelievable. Like from Stuart Skinner's unbelievably horrific to unbelievably great to McDavid is just the definition of unbelievable. To even the fact Corey Perry's still so effective.
You literally just took the words out of my mouth. I was like, the fact Corey Perry defies time.
I feel like I'm watching Magic right now, and I feel like I will not feel whole if one of the other three teams hoist the Stanley Cup this year.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
Fully agree. This is the story that needs to happen.
It does. It has to.
Urging it on.
I'm manifesting it.
I will actually be choked if any other team wins the cup.
So the only storyline that I would also otherwise be okay with is Dallas beating Carolina, just simply because,
Rantanen Bowl?
Yes, just because we talked year over year over year on this podcast about how Carolina just simply doesn't have the guy. And then they went and got the guy, and he didn't fit right away. And then they got rid of the guy. And for that to be the crowning moment of Rod Brindamore's career would just be so poetic.
It would really be a moment, especially if it was like the game winner or something, or he does Rantanen things, puts a hat trick up in the clenching game. Yeah. You could almost see that happening too, but it's such a stretch. And
I know it is. Yeah.
I mean, we'll get to it, but God, Carolina's cooked. They're cooked.
They're cooked.
They're frauds.
Yeah, that's over.
I called it. They're fake tough. They ran into real tough, and they're fake tough.
Jonesy, do you have any takeaways so far from this Oilers and Dallas series?
Nope. I'm gonna be honest.
Nope.
I really have not been watching hockey at all.
Yeah.
Get it? Life gets busy. Happens.
Dude.
I've been watching a lot of replays, honestly. I've been watching them the day after at work.
Nice.
The only hockey I've seen in this round was the first period of Florida Carolina the other night, and it was 3-0.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I'm watching basketball.
I suppose I will not be returning to you for more hockey takes this week, Jonesy.
Yeah, I'm really not locked in at all.
All right, let's
Oh, actually, my last take on Edmonton, really quick, because we did touch on the goaltending. God damn, that defense is so underrated. I know that they are chaos prone.
Yeah, they are.
We can admit Evan Bouchard is a bit of a giveaway machine sometimes, and at the worst of cases, worst scenarios.
Yes.
Worst point of time he could do it, he does.
Indubitably.
Nurse is a little bit of a moron.
Oh, yeah.
But somehow they have struck the perfect chord of chemistry.
They really have.
With all those guys just adding Wallman into the mix.
Yeah, great ad.
Ekholm, Stetcher for some reason looks amazing over there too.
I love Troy Stetcher. That's my guy.
Looks like a different player.
Dude, Tony from Richmond. That's the guy.
And who is it? Pugkolzin?
Yeah, Vasily.
I
mean, he's a forward, but
yeah, I know, but he's just another player that they've picked up that looks so rejuvenated. Looks like just a different guy.
He's just one of those guys that this is exactly the player that I thought Vasily Podkolzin would be in Vancouver, where he's just a really underwhelming third liner, but in the playoffs, that big body, those hands, and his tenacity on pucks, it makes for impact in the playoffs.
I was gonna say he was full out face diving in front of shots.
Yeah,
and they had a comfortable cushion going through the third, and he was still risking it all.
100%. Yeah,
that's what I love to see. And also the dude's bulked up like crazy. I remember when he was kind of a small forward, and it was okay, he's a third liner, but
no, he's big for sure.
Yeah, he's filled out in a big way. I kind of did a double take. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What have you fed this guy?
100%. Real quick, speaking of Darnell Nurse being a moron.
Yep.
How do we feel about that slash tonight? Dallas, they were really, really hoping for 5 on this. Like, look, Dallas fans absolutely up in arms. Pete DeBoer after the game saying that's 5 if that's McDavid. Look, he goes down. It's terrible. Like he was. He looked like he was Aaron Judge out there. But I mean, that's a pretty just kind of cut and dry 2 minutes for slashing call.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a slashing call below the waist get a 5.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, I've seen Sidney Crosby slash off a dude's finger and not get 5.
Yeah.
Like, he had a stump, guys,
Yeah.
and he wasn't getting 5.
Actual. Yeah.
The guy didn't have 5 on his hand, and Crosby wasn't getting 5. So
he could still count to the amount of minutes Crosby get.
Exactly. Terrible.
I thought that was pretty cut and dry too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, unless they change the rule book in the
Yeah,
off season that
yeah.
I'm unaware of,
I
where
don't
there's
think
like,
so.
malicious non-hockey play intent that, like, is reviewable.
Like that.
But I didn't hear about anything
Yeah,
like that.
neither did-
That would be
Nor
news to
did
me.
I.
And last I checked, this isn't the IHF.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, if this was the Olympics, sure. Yeah, it's 5 in a game. Get him
Sure.
out of here. That's unsportsmanlike.
Indeed.
But like, yeah, it's not. It's just a cut and dry slash. You
Yeah.
can't even give him like 5 in a game for unsportsmanlike on that one.
Jay, what do you think? You think that should have been 5?
No, and like I said before, like I hadn't seen the clip until now.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are wiling over it,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I think it's literally just because, like, the refs call the 5 now to review it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's literally wise because they called the 5 to review it. And so then they were like, see, it should be 5. Yeah, no.
No.
That's not how that works.
And like, I could see a slash. To be clear, I could see a slash getting like an unsportsmanlike 5 in a game if it was to an unprotected part of the body in
Yeah.
a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
But they're battling in front of the net,
Yep.
and when you go and slash a guy on his shins,
On, like, the shin pad-ish area.
yeah, like pant shin, like the odds of you hitting that gap between like
Yeah.
where the knee cuts
Yeah,
off and
yeah.
then the pants, like it's so slim and unlikely, especially from the angle he comes at. Like,
It clearly wasn't, like, intentional. Like, he wasn't trying to do that.
no, like Darnell Nurse doesn't have samurai-like accuracy. We've watched this guy play for years. Is anything
Factual.
but that.
Factual. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just shit happens. It's playoff hockey. Deal with it. Move on.
All right, I'm glad we're all on the same page on that. Let's move over to Florida and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, this take will be about as quick as the series.
I was going to say, I feel like we're going to have a little bit less to say about this one. I already touched on, I think it's it's really amazed me how Florida can play, such a heavy forecheck game. They just play that, like, whatever Carolina throws at them, especially when they're entering the zone, they just switch it and then switch back and then switch it from chip and chase to carrying it in to moving the puck back to the supporter. Like, whenever Brindamore changes the plan, Florida counters right away. And I think
it's so nasty.
it's so cool to watch because I feel like often we don't see this kind of coaching battle in a series where it's as on the fly as these two are. That's been really cool to see.
And I think it speaks to the preparedness of the players.
Yeah.
For them to be able, because you can't just like yell at them and tell them what's happening on the
sure.
fly for them to
For
know.
sure.
They have to be able to see this play developing and watch it happen in real time and react to it.
Yeah.
So you've taught everyone through your roster to have this kind of awareness
Yes.
and play sensing ability.
Yeah. And the discipline to know what the backup plan is.
And adhere to it.
Yes,
and adhere to the
it.
plans.
Under
not
pressure
panic,
in the playoffs.
which I feel like is, a testament to Toronto's failures, even in a sense.
100% it is. Yeah.
Because that's a team that has plans. They have plays. They have set things they draw up. And then
Yeah.
the second something goes wrong, they panic.
Yeah.
And it doesn't They don't stick to anything. It just
look like a deer in
collapses
headlights.
inward. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Those poor Carolina Hurricanes still have not won an Eastern Conference Final game. Ouch.
Fantastic. Give me 14 more. I don't care what's in them.
14 in a row. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh,
14 in
baby.
a row.
Swept, and now down 2-0. Well, that's not an ideal place to be. And I forgot that last time. I forgot about, well, until this got brought up, that they got swept by Florida. I was like, oh, yeah, isn't that when Brindamore was up on the stand after the fourth game being like, that wasn't a sweep?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. We were like, no, that was definitely a sweep.
I watched the games. That wasn't a sweep. It's like, yeah, we all watched the games, pal.
We saw it. The writing was on the walls.
Sure looked like a sweep from down here, I'll tell you that.
Yep.
I mean, and it was a very close series. It was closer than this series has been so far, in all honesty. Those were all one-goal games. These haven't been. Yeah, they're cooked.
Yeah, they're cooked. This is a spanking. And I mean, this.
Jonesy, I know you're not watching. They're cooked. Don't worry.
Word.
It looks terrible. And I mean, like, it's such a testament, again, to Toronto
Yeah.
and their stick-to-itiveness this year with sticking to business, not getting sucked into the nonsense.
For sure.
But they did at the end. And they lost for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a damn shame.
It is.
But you just can't out-dirty the dirtiest team in the league. You need to just play your game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Carolina very quickly tried to play the who's dirtier contest, and it didn't work.
Because it ain't them.
It ain't them.
It ain't them.
And you could try all the cheapest stuff in the world to try and even the score. You can shoot pucks at guys near the end of the game and try and deck them in the face with a snapshot.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
It ain't you.
That ain't it. That ain't you. And we saw Gostisbehere got like 5 times over for that.
Oh boy,
in the
did
next
he
game.
ever. Yeah.
Kachuk faking the fall, taking his legs out from him, then grinning at the bench after, like, oh, whoops, did I do that?
I'm so over this Panthers team.
Marchand's triple cross checks to the kidneys.
Oh.
He only got 1 penalty, and this was for the last one, which is crazy.
that's what Florida does now, right? And this is their thing. This is what when I was saying last week. They give me 2011 Bruins vibes. This is exactly why, because they will consistently take penalties knowing that you can't call them all.
Yeah.
Right? Well, you might as well take 3 if they're going to give you 1.
Absolutely, because
And
they're probably only going to give you 1.
They're only going to give you 1.
And, like, how many players do they have in their lineup
that are doing that?
Well, I mean, like, if you heard enough of the other team's players, who's replacing them?
Mhm.
That's an easy penalty.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Especially if it wins you the series.
Yep.
That's how Nathan Horton built his goddamn name.
Indeed it is. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Felt validating.
You're welcome. I hate that guy. So there's some shared 2011 hatred.
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
we don't mutually bond over that period of time.
Not very much, no. but today we will.
Yeah, you can have that one. I also think Tim Thomas is a bum.
He was a bum. He still is a bum.
Yeah, he was like Oscar the Grouch, but a goalie. He was just splashing around in trash.
Yeah, I bet you he lives in a trash can now.
You know?
But like he's one of those guys that like does it intentionally and is just like
he's like McFoley.
Yes.
Yeah, just traveling without even ring gear. He just like wrestles in his street clothes, rings them out after the match, and then travels in them again.
Exactly. He's
disgusting.
Like, this is good for you.
Yeah, it's healthy. It's good for the skin.
All right. I fully expect next week to be here and that series is done.
Yeah, same.
However, the other one, the Oilers-Dallas series, we'll see. I think the Oilers have been the better team, but that series could get some distance behind it still.
I could easily see that one going the full 7.
Me too.
This one I could easily see going 4.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to front.
I gotta feel like Carolina's gonna find a way to win a game here, but I don't know. They haven't looked like they will.
I don't. I'm planting my flag in the Carolina hate.
Yeah.
Frauds.
Fraudulent.
Stat merchants.
Should have kept Rantanen.
Yeah. Just womp womp.
Imagine how good a team would like the Carolina Hurricanes would be if they added, like a Mikko Rantanen type player.
Yeah, imagine how good a Carolina Hurricanes team might be if they still had like a Martin H's.
I just think, like those types of like Mikko Rantanen players, like they don't come around very often, especially on the trade market. Like they're not available very often. Like if Carolina ever gets a chance, they should really take that up and keep that player just at least for one playoff run.
Yeah. Yeah, even if you can't keep them like long term, you may
Who
as well
cares?
like you kind of already have them there. You may as well use them.
Yeah,
But,
you gotta try and win a couple games here.
But hell, what do I know?
Yeah,
I'm not a
we
GM.
don't know anything. Speaking of people who don't know anything, we're looking at the Shanna plan and it's over.
Womp bump bow. You guys are playing next.
Yeah, eyes are playing next, no doubt. I mean, this one I shouldn't say Brendan Shanahan doesn't know anything because the first few years of the Shanna plan were really completely franchise changing, right? That team was so horrific in 2014 when he took them over, and he committed to the tank, and they get Austin Matthews right out the gate. And obviously then Mitch Marner and Nylander, and they signed Tavares, and it really did bring some respect back to that jersey and to that organization for a little bit. But it was so clearly time.
It was time, and I mean, look, there's such a clear issue with like how the team was built, and just the chemistry top down, and that starts at an office level.
Yes. Absolutely, it starts at the executive level.
Like, I think that he had the right idea for the first 5 years. Yes, get as much as you can. Just stock the shelves. Get
elite talent.
Yeah, get the highest ceiling guys you can, and just worry about the rest later.
Yeah.
But they never did that.
No.
They just kept them around, and it's like, hey, eventually, like, having 4 of the guys built off the same prototype isn't gonna do you much well.
Especially when, like, once you're through, like, the 4th first-round exit.
And it's a delicate prototype.
Yeah.
Like, these are not, like, we're talking about, like, Sam Bennett players.
Yeah, for sure.
Or, a Brady Tkachuk, where it's like, okay, we could work with 4 of those.
Yeah.
That's easy. No, these
100%.
are delicate players that are flashy at times and oftentimes cold when the pressure hits.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't have that long term.
No, you can't.
And they just never addressed the issues.
No, they didn't. And, we talked about the conflict of ideologies between Kyle Dubas and Brendan Shanahan in the past. And it's just so clear, like, now looking back, how apparent that was, And even when they fired Dubas and Shanahan, before they even had a new GM, like, was texting the core 4 telling them they're not going anywhere. It's like, that's a problem.
I don't like that at all. Yeah, and
what do you even have a GM for then?
Exactly. Like, you're just colluding the process. You've become too invested in the project rather than being invested in the results of the project.
Yes.
Now your ego's tied to it.
Yes.
And any change that happens feels like a slight on your plan. And it's like, no, dude. Like, some of the best GMs and hockey minds that we talk about, know, respect on the regular basis, didn't even get to win the cup with that team.
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Because we all know, anyone who knows and is worth a damn will know that Brian Burke laid the foundation.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That's a thing.
Totally.
Like, anyone who's a Devils fan will know that Ray Shero built the foundation for what Fitzgerald's running right now.
For sure.
Like, it goes through all of these other franchises, and you can name a guy.
Yeah.
And they probably weren't the guy that won the cup, but they're the guy that every fan respects.
Yes.
And that should be enough, because that's what you were hired to do.
Yeah. See, what concerns me about the Leafs now, though, is they say they're not hiring a new president. Now, not necessarily a necessity. I get that. But if you're running it, but then that basically means you're just running it back with Brad at the helm rather than Brad and Brendan.
And I know they're saying that they're going to give Berube a lot more control and a lot more input.
Which I don't hate.
I don't hate that either, but like, I've been in a hockey office that decides that they don't need certain positions and that they can just push a small portion of that position onto every other position.
Yes.
And you know what happens?
Yes.
It goes terribly.
Yeah.
Because no one's trained in that position besides the person you fired in that position. And now you have a bunch of people working overtime doing shit they don't know how to do and not getting to results you need.
Yeah, no, 100%. Typically, that formula of, just having less voices is not a good thing. You know what I mean? Having less roles. The president role is an important one. Because what you also don't want is MLSE, the ownership group, making those decisions.
No.
Concerning a little bit.
Yeah, you want to have a buffer somewhere between the ownership
and your GM.
Exactly.
Making the daily trades,
Exactly.
Waiver wire pickups and whatnot.
And yeah, when you remove key pieces of anything in a franchise, whether it's even social media, that's a huge issue. It just trickles down onto every other position and makes that position slightly more bogged down and bureaucratic to the point where things aren't getting done at a rate you need them to get done, and mistakes are happening 5 times as much.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
I would much rather
100%.
just pay a dude and call it money well spent for trouble I'm not going to see.
Yes.
That's like paying a lawyer to have them on retainer.
Yes.
Like, you don't bitch about that because when you finally need that lawyer,
you're be glad you had it.
Yeah, it's like car insurance. I'm not happy about paying it, but I do because one day I'll need it probably, and that'll be great.
I'm a little bit biased too because the Canucks really lost the plot when they lost Trevor Linden as their president, and it became just Aquilini and Jim Benning.
Mm-hmm.
So that concerns me a little.
Yeah, I think that it is an essential position, even if they may not do a lot. And yeah, maybe you need a new perspective and a new guy in there, but just doing away with the position, especially when you have so many key decisions coming up.
Totally.
Like, you have 4 massive superstars that you could potentially lose in a domino effect.
Yeah. Well, and I'm, we talked about this at the beginning of the season. I'm not confident in Brad Trelawing's ability to manage that.
No,
really not. He did a terrible job in Calgary of it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Matthew Tkachuk. The only difference I think between that Vancouver situation and the Toronto one is if there was a problem with Shanahan making too many of those decisions for the GM and the AGMs, because they also reportedly have a massive management staff. Like more than pretty much any other team in the league. They have 6 or 7 assistant general managers along with advisor to the general manager.
Okay, that's a little asinine. Probably do without that.
Yeah, so if you have that plus Shanahan vetoing everything that involves Mitch Marner and Nylander or whoever in the core 4 and Ryan Reeves and whatnot, you might not need every single person in that role. I get it.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember when Kyle Dubas said that, it's verbatim now because my memory isn't that good anymore, but he essentially said verbatim, there wasn't much I could do after the trade deadline. And I remember saying something along the lines of, what the hell do you mean? There was nothing you can do. You're the GM. You hold the keys. For the love of God, get your balls out of your purse and do something.
Except maybe he didn't.
Yeah. Feeling a little bad for that take now. And I do apologize, Mr. Doobies, because the fog of war is clearing, and I fear that I may have been on the wrong side of history for that one.
Jay, how you feel about the reunion? Not Fleury to Pittsburgh, but Mitch Marner with Kyle Dubas again.
Ew.
I've
I've never considered that. Even when people like right now ask me about it, I don't think that's a possibility at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ew.
It
also just doesn't really make sense, even for Pittsburgh.
Not at all. Dubas loves Mitch Marner though. I will say I'm playing my I got a franchise mode simulator type thing, right? That I play Hockey Legacy Manager. It's great.
Yep.
Those dumbass Pittsburgh Penguins got Gavin McKenna, and it almost ruined my week.
That's so funny.
Soon.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Speaking of Gavin McKenna, actually, I kind of wanted to highlight some other playoff stuff going around going on around hockey right now because there's not just the NHL playoffs happening.
No, yeah, we've had a really interesting week for hockey just in general. Like some really cool news.
Yeah.
Just to finish up on the Mitch Marner stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
There was rumors about him going to Chicago and them being
Mhm.
interested. They came out today and said, we're not going to pursue that, which is like, okay, cool.
It's like when that, you know what though? That's like when you get rejected at the bar and you're like, yeah, well, you're ugly anyways. You know, like they know damn well Mitch Marner's not coming to no fucking Chicago. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we actually think we're not going to try and get him. Yeah, I bet, dude.
We don't want him.
Yeah, I bet you know it.
Yeah. And I've also heard rumblings that like there's a very strong chance that Marner will not be back in Toronto.
Yeah.
And that
That
he
seems
also
to be the
doesn't
consensus.
want to sign in Toronto anymore.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hearing the same things. Yeah, I think that era is over. I'm excited. Like honestly, I have been on this train since last year. Mitch Marner is a phenomenal player. He would look amazing in a Vancouver Canucks jersey. It won't happen, but he is going to be electric in the next place that he goes to.
Washington.
Oh, now that's an idea I really like.
Right? Kind of fits.
I'm seeing Utah in my eyes, and I like that idea too. I hate the idea of Utah taking away more Western playoff spots, but
I think it's too much heavy lifting in Utah, and I don't think they're ready. And I don't think he's ready to commit to another losing rebuild prospect. He's
I don't
going to
know
want to
that they
go to a
are
team
that,
that's
though.
like go time ready.
I think a GM could convince Mitch Marner that Utah's ready. I think I could convince Mitch Marner that Utah's go time ready.
Yeah, they're pretty damn close. They do have some really nice prospects too. So like,
And it's more of just like getting to watch Mitch Marner play with Dylan Guenther would just be so sick.
okay, but Mitch Marner and Ryan Leonard, Mitch Marner and Ovechkin.
See, like Ovechkin, that doesn't move me. I don't like watching Alex Ovechkin play hockey anymore. I love watching him. It's it's so cool to see him, and it's like, wow, look at this guy. What a legend. We've talked about it over and over this year. But like, he doesn't play exciting hockey.
No,
You know what I mean? Like,
he
I don't.
plays Jamie Benn hockey.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm not like dying to see that with Mitch Marner to get. That doesn't seem like it's gonna be fireworks. You know what I mean? All right. I do like the idea though of Washington as well.
Yeah, I'm quite married to that idea. I think I'm gonna just like hold that one tight in my heart
Let's
for a
ride
little
that out
bit.
until the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Playoffs.
Yeah, other playoff stuff going on. I mean, first of all, we got the PWHL playoffs. They're in the finals right now, actually. Ottawa and Minnesota are in the finals. Minnesota just tied up the series 1-1 tonight. A bit of a heater to end that one. Minnesota been pretty thoroughly outplayed through the first two games, but they get away with one tonight. And yeah, if you're keeping an eye out there, it's simply the best time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of a battle of the ugly jerseys.
It really is.
Really, just some tough jersey designs on the ice right now between the Frozen F and the Swoopy O.
The Swoopy O, I like that. I really hope Vancouver's got nice jerseys.
Same.
Yeah.
God, I really hope they work with like a local indigenous artist and like
Yeah.
come up with something really like just.
Because the only PWHL jerseys that I really like right now, I think, are the Montreal ones.
I can kind of deal with the Sirens.
Yeah.
They're all right, but you know.
They're not life changing.
No, exactly. And I really do want to see some like exciting expansion teams, especially out west. Like,
Yeah.
very exciting. Also, I heard that between Seattle and Vancouver, they've had over 10,000 season ticket sales
Wow,
already.
that's great.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, not too shabby at all.
It's crazy.
They just named a GM down in Seattle.
They did.
Megan Turner has been named the general manager of PWHL Seattle.
Boston Fleet assistant GM for the last 2 seasons. So
Nice.
right on.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that out west here next year. That's kind of when I feel like I'm gonna start watching this a little bit more intently than I did this year. Like obviously there's some storylines going on. I also don't remember the name of the goal scorer tonight, but the really controversial one for Minnesota.
Curl.
Yes.
Because she makes my soul curl.
Yeah. So she got booed all night and scored the game winner.
Sickening.
Yeah. So
that.
go Ottawa.
Yeah, go Ottawa. Exactly.
Moving out of the PWHL, not playoffs but World Championships.
Very exciting news.
Really?
I mean, not for us, but
No, but you know what? Denmark loses in the final. Or sorry, Denmark beats Canada in the quarterfinals
but at home.
at home.
At home. It's the type of thing that you hate to see as a Canadian, but you love to see as a story lover.
Yeah, like cuz I just don't hate it at all as a Canadian cuz I don't care about this tournament.
I don't either.
I don't at all. And every year, this year a little bit more than other years because we had this cool Crosby and Celebrini bromance thing happening, which is just so cool. Like, I mean, Celebrini wasn't even born when Crosby was in the league.
That's wholesome as hell.
It's so wholesome. You get the Crosby and Marc-Andre Fleury reunion as well. Super wholesome. But overall, like, the coolest thing about these tournaments is watching teams lose their mind if they beat Canada.
Yeah.
That is the
100%.
coolest part.
I mean, like, can you blame them?
No, not at all.
It's so cool.
Dude,
No one does that.
Artur Silovs, when they won bronze and they beat Canada, they built him a statue in Latvia.
It's crazy.
That's absolute insanity.
That's actually crazy.
There is a statue of that guy. He's an AHL goalie. That's great. That's so sick. That's the best part of this. And yeah, watching Denmark just absolutely lose their minds, get the late goal to win. It was really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, it
Even
was
as
awesome.
Canadian.
Yep, and it just goes to show it's a beautiful game.
It's a beautiful game.
Anyone
Indeed.
can win on any given Sunday, Monday, Tuesday through the week.
And that's one of the most stacked Canada teams I've seen at this World Championship in a long time.
Yeah, it's no slouch. It's
No.
not like when Germany beat Canada in the Olympics, like what 4
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
And it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
okay, like we don't even know who half of these players are.
Like that
We-
team still had like Maxime Lapierre on it. It's like, what's going on right now?
Yeah, like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, come on, we can't take this seriously.
No, not at all.
But this we can take seriously. That's a huge win.
Yeah, you got Sidney Crosby, you got Celebrini, you got Nathan McKinnon. I mean, yeah.
And you held them to one goal
You held them to one goal. Yeah.
and squeaked it out in regulation.
in regulation at that. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you-
Cool stuff.
And coach's face on the bench, just like
Yeah.
the epitome of rattled. Just
I know.
you can see like just the bombs going off.
Yeah. And that also marks the end of the professional career of Jonesy's least favorite goalie, Marc-Andre Fleury. And that's what a moment.
Damn.
Finish your career sitting on the bench.
Just knowing you're not Jonesy's favorite goalie of all time.
Yeah, that's tough.
Tough scene.
Like
Probably cries about it.
yeah, I mean Mark, if I can call you that. I know you're I know you're watching. Jonesy didn't mean to hurt you, man.
Nah, man. Like me and Mark talked about it.
You did. You
Yeah,
did.
so-
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Last up here, we got the Memorial Cup got underway tonight. I love watching the Memorial Cup. That actually, like, it's tough because like around this time we don't get like at my workplace. We get a lot of people that just want NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. That's it.
Makes
Um,
sense.
However, we do get Memorial Cup watchers big time.
It's an exciting time of year.
It is. And so I get to see it usually because we got it on while I'm working the nights and all that. And yeah, it's just it's exciting. I mean, we got Medicine Hat. The final four teams are Medicine Hat, London, Moncton, and Rimouski. Is that how you pronounce it?
Rimouski.
Rimouski,
Oceanic.
who is hosting the event. And yeah, I mean, we got Gavin McKenna, who put up a couple points in the first game tonight on 5-4 win over Rimouski.
Kid's so silky.
He's
It's
so
disgusting.
good. Yeah,
That-
Gavin McKenna is so good.
That little. Did you see that fake out move on the blue line with like the spin
Yeah, oh,
around
yeah.
into the one hand tip in around it? Like it was like, oh my god,
I know.
just turnstiling dudes in the biggest tournament in Canada. Like
It's unbelievable.
yeah,
stuff.
if it's on, don't sleep on this tournament. I know it's not as well produced as the NHL.
No.
deal with it because these are literally the 4 best junior teams in all of Canada right now.
Yeah.
Watch it because it's going to be damn good hockey. And I promise you a bunch of these guys are going to be in the Chell sooner than later.
100%, yeah. Particularly if you get to see any of those Medicine Hat London games, that's the ones I'll be looking for. Because Gavin McKenna, you don't, like, look, you only get a couple years to watch these guys in junior, right? We only got the one chance to see Connor Bedard destroy the juniors.
Yeah.
Right? The World Juniors, that is. Appreciate it because it's cool. Madison Hat, you got Gavin McKenna, obviously, we're talking about. They also got Caden Lindstrom from Columbus. Very highly touted prospect. That's exciting. London, they got a goalie in there. They got Alexei Medvedev, I believe is how you pronounce that. Consolidated ranking has him at 65th this year in the top 100. He's draft eligible. They also got Henry Brustevich, who I'm going to be watching, draft eligible this year. Consolidated ranking has him 46th. His brother Hunter has trended really well in Calgary there, so I'll be keeping an eye there. Also, the drafted guys, Easton Cowan had such a horrific World Juniors.
He did.
Like,
but he looked really good coming back. Like, I follow the OHL Instagram page.
Yeah.
Non-stop Cowan highlights.
Yeah. He's been electric since then.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched pretty much anything from him since then. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that here through this Memorial Cup. And then Sam Dickinson as well, San Jose. I mean, they're just loaded with fun young talent right now. So I'll be keeping an eye on that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sam Dickinson was a guy I was very hard on in the World Juniors. I just was not appreciative of how he played.
Yeah.
However, again, had a really solid bounce back and was producing crazy points as soon as he got back to London. So clearly awoke something in those two guys, and they've been playing well. I'm looking forward to seeing them play in this. Moncton's going to be really exciting as well.
Yeah.
My guy, Juraj Pekarczyk.
Yep.
He's a St. Louis draft prospect, 76th overall in 2023. So he was like very young when he got drafted.
Sure.
Pretty much like just became eligible and was snatched right up.
Right.
And he played World Juniors this year. He was the assistant captain. He played World Junior U20s last year as well.
Nice.
And I think he had like 7 points this year. So great player.
Nice.
He's
Exciting
like
to
at an international level. So
great.
You'll want to watch that guy.
I'll also be keeping an eye on Caleb. I don't know how to pronounce this. Desnoyer, something like that.
Sure.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Consolidated ranking has him in the top 10 at number 8 right now. He's a center, going to be going in this draft class, so I'll be keeping an eye there for sure. You said you have Pekarczyk on your Fantrax team, yeah?
I do. Yeah, I drafted him.
Speaking of Fantrax, we got our league going, and over there in Rimouski, they got Eriks Matejko, who you may remember from that electric game that Latvia played against Canada.
It's hard to forget.
That's right. They beat Canada, and Matejko was a star for them. He looked so good. I believe a 3rd-round pick to Washington last year. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him. We had a bit of a fiasco in our Fantrax league over that whole thing.
Did we ever? Holy Christ. This is about Chris.
It's about Chris. If y'all don't know, Jacob Krismer, good friend of the show. If you follow, our music outside of the podcast and things like that, you'll know we've made tons and tons of music with Chris over the years. Good friend of ours, also in this Fantrax league. And hey, it's late night. It's the end of the show. We'll yap a little bit about this. We got a rule in our league, right?
Yeah. So there's a pickup rule. There's a free agency. And there's drafting. But the rule of free agency, because otherwise drafting would be useless, is the guy has to be over 25 or have played
X amount of games.
Over 40. No, is it 26 games? I think it's 26.
I don't know what the number is, but a certain amount of NHL games, yeah. And so you can't just be picking up rookies that haven't played and are young. Like, basically, if they're young and they get passed over in the draft, they're eligible in the next draft until they're free agent eligible.
Yeah, just much like real life.
And this boy Chris, after that World Juniors performance, just picked the guy up off waivers. There's no actual like there's nothing in the app that prevents you from doing this, but it's one of the league rules, right?
an internal league rule that is listed quite specifically and quite early on in the league rulebook, I might add. It's not a deep dive.
No, it's not. And so we reached out to Chris and we said, hey, bro, just so you know, you can't do it. It's his first year in this league. Hey, bro, just so you know, you can't do that.
I made the mistake once before.
Yeah, I did too.
Benefit of the doubt.
Of course. And he replied with, get good. Y'all, you should have seen the disaster this caused in our group chat. It was one of the most heated weeks I think I really feel like that Jake is one of my closest friends in this world. And like it was on the ropes. Like
he was calling you Tico Judas.
He was calling me Judas. Cause I told him, I said, yo, you can't, cause I'm trying to draft this guy next year. Like you can't just be picking dudes up. That's not how this works. Just drop him. Like we'll battle for him in the draft. We both got a ton of draft picks, and he was like, no. And I was like, Doug, do not make me go to the commissioner to get this taken apart. I don't want to just drop the guy.
It's embarrassing. We're the ones that invited you here.
And he's just like, no. And that is so I did. I posted it in the full league group chat, 20 teams we got. And everyone was like, yeah, you can't do that. Commissioner was like, yeah, you can't do that. And this dude, like, if he owned a Roman Empire, he would have burnt it to the ground.
Yeah. He was ready to throw in the towel and the league's rigged and I don't believe in this and what's the point? You should be allowed to sign guys whenever after the draft. If you missed them, that's too bad. And it's like, yeah, dog, but like, what's the point of drafting then?
Yeah, Chrismer, if you're watching this, I love you, brother, but
you're dead wrong for that.
That was crazy. That was so crazy.
I
remember even Big J messaging the group chat that week and being like, you know, Chris really brings a little spark to this league.
Yeah, no, that was like the most entertaining shit ever. Like the group chat for a week.
Yeah,
was just flames.
Chaos.
It was for real, like a week. So shout out to Eric Smateko. Shout out to Chris. We love you, brother. I was keeping an eye on him.
I was arguing with him in like 3 different text threads at the same time. Do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah.
Do you know how butt-ass mad I have to be to argue with you on 3 different screens at once?
In a Discord channel, in a group text, and in private text. That's crazy.
That's a lot of work. That's a ton of work.
All right. Well, it's getting late. We should get out of here. This has been fun, yo. Always is.
Yeah, absolutely. The playoffs are absolutely humming right now.
Yeah.
Make sure you tune into the rest of this series because we're gonna have the finals soon, and then you're gonna be sad because hockey's gonna be gone,
Correct.
and then you're gonna have to wait until September to watch awful preseason, honestly, and then
exactly.
until October to get real hockey. So
it's just the best time of the year.
Get it while you can. I know the grass is green. I know the birds are chirping.
Mm-hmm.
I know that your wife really, 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 really wants to go out for that hike.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, it can wait.
Yeah,
it can wait.
A couple weeks.
It can wait. Or
couple
just
more weeks.
Split the difference and I don't know, take her to Browns.
Take her to Browns. Yeah.
Or Bucky's.
Take her to Marlena. I went to Marlena this week. You know that?
Yeah, you mentioned that. How was that?
It was delicious. One of the best meals I've ever had in Victoria. In fact, I would wager pretty easily the best meal I've ever had in Victoria.
It won Best New Restaurant.
It did win Best New Restaurant in Canada.
Last year?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It is, however, owned by Francesco Aquilini, the owner of the Vancouver Canucks.
Oh, barf.
Yeah. And so we're walking in there, and, it's a birthday dinner for our friend Lindsay. And, there's a bunch of us and all that. And I say to Lindsay and Carly, I was like, y'all got a lot of nerve bringing me here. Because I hear Francesco's here often, and if he is, I'm going to ruin this birthday dinner. I'm telling you that right now.
That's so... I so badly wish he walked through the door.
Oh, I do too.
That would have been an all-star for the ages crash out.
Like, and real talk, like, I would have gotten banned from that restaurant. And, like, I was, like, at the table, like, looking around.
Waiting. Tony Soprano style.
Like, I really was looking.
Scanning the room.
Yeah.
Where is he, though? Hey, Paulie. Oh, you see him?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Jonesy's having a laugh over there too. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get out of here, Francesco. You and Landon DuPont. I'm gonna see y'all. And yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks
As
for
always,
tuning in.
we appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
And until next time, take care. Stay safe.
That's right. Keep your dang head up.
Keep your head up.
Boom.
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 Stick tight. Stick